Welcome, you folks. We're grateful to have you with us this afternoon. This is the 8th of February of 2022. I'm Don Snow, and I'm actually in Provo, Utah today. I'm usually in St. George for these, but I'm up here at my place in Provo. Today's topic is HeritageQuest Online, and this is the 5th part of a series that we've done on HeritageQuest Online. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, because it's a helpful website that's available to you through your local library, usually by using your library card. There are notes, and Gerhard will have the handout for you in the chat box here in a few minutes, so that you can actually download it, and it's on that website down there at the bottom now. Let's see, we want to talk today about what's on their on HeritageQuest, on their maps and some of their miscellaneous records. That includes some photographs and a bunch of other stuff. Now, I put this note in here to remind you to register for RootsTech 2022. It's free, and there's you can use that URL. RootsTech.org, and it's completely free, and it'll be starting in about 3 weeks. It'll be broadcast from Salt Lake City, but with people from all over the world participating. And anyway, there'll be a wealth of information there. There's a lot of information on there now as to what you can do with it. And I just wrote a Freeware Corner article, one of my monthly Freeware Corner articles, on what's there now and the history of it. So anyway, keep that in mind and register for that if you're not already registered. Here's what we want to talk about today on the maps and the miscellaneous records. We'll talk a little bit about getting to HeritageQuest Online, and the details are in earlier classes, and those notes are on my website so that you can get to them. They have on there the U.S. county boundary changes for every state in the union, and we'll look at that and see what you can do with it, how the counties change over the years. For every state. There's over 3,000 counties in the U.S., and each state is listed in an interactive map on it. We'll show you that. There's some land ownership maps on here. It's not complete for the whole U.S. for all times, but if you find a name on there of one of your ancestors, it'll actually show you a plat of what property they owned in whatever the area was. Right. And there are miscellaneous vital records, and we want to look at some of those. Somebody's got their microphone on. There's miscellaneous vital records and miscellaneous other kinds of records. And there's a link to the Library of Congress photos. And I want to show you a photo that I found from there that will work. Now, the class notes, most of you are aware that my class notes are online on my webpage, and there's the link to it. And we'll look at them here in just a second. But all the recent videos are on there for the classes that we've done in the past, and as well as the notes. The videos are, there's a link to the videos on there, but the notes are on there. Now, let me shift gears and get over here to, let's see, here's the, this is my web page where that link takes you to. Most of you are aware that that my notes are on here and available. There's several other sub pages here of different sorts of things that you may be interested or may not be, but you can go through them. Class is coming up, and here's the one that we're doing today. It's item number 1 here on the coming up, HeritageQuest Part 5, etc. And it's underlined, so that's the link to it. Next time, 2 weeks from today, we're going to talk about Google searches and some ideas that you can use for that. Many of you are aware of Google and how to use it, but there's some tricks and techniques that help. And then there's a couple of things I've done, recorded in 2 classes for RootsTech, so I've listed those on here. And then we'll have a couple of other classes in March that I haven't decided on the titles of yet for them. Here's the past classes and the past notes. They're all down here so that you can see the past classes for this series on HeritageQuest Online. I'm going to go back up here and click on today's class. Click, well, I've already opened it, so I won't click. It's right here. This is what it'll get to, HeritageQuest Online Part 5. There's an abstract that'll give you the details as to what we're talking about today. Here's the welcome and the introduction. And the problem for today is, what maps does HeritageQuest Online have, and what other kinds of records. Now, here's how to get to HeritageQuest Online. If you live in the state of Utah, there's a link here, and that's the link right there that will get you to it. I'm gonna hold down the control key and click on that. This is a changed link. It's slightly different than what they had before. Well, that didn't do it because it's already opened on my computer. That's why it won't show me this link. But that link will open up, and within the last month they've changed it so that it now requires what they call the Open Athens thing. You type in your library card, a public library card from any public library in the state of Utah, and it will say, and then a password. You select the password, and then it will save those on your computer. If you tell it to save it, it'll save them on your computer, so you don't have to type those in each time. And I've already opened that up in another window so that you'll see that in a minute. You can also get HeritageQuest Online for free in family history centers via the portal that they have there. Maps on HeritageQuest, we'll talk a little bit about what the different maps are. The guide to the census maps, that's the federal U.S. Census. That's the one where the county boundary changes are, because as the changes occur, of course, the individual may be in a different county than the one that you were working with before. We'll talk a little bit about that, and I'll show you some examples of that. There's some enumeration district maps for the U.S. For the 1940 census, and my guess is they're going to be pretty much the same for the 1950 census, which will be released in, I think, is it April 1st? I think it's April 1st they're going to release that of this year. It's 72 years after the census is taken before they release it to the public. You can, if you know the individual, you can actually write to them earlier and get a copy, but they usually charge you for it. So if you want to do the 1960 or 70 or 80 census, you can by writing to the Census Bureau and sending in information. But I think they charge you for that. But it's released to the public after 72 years. And so the 1950 census is coming out, I think it's April 1st of this year. And then there'll be a big indexing project for it, et cetera. There's indexed county land ownership maps, and I'll show you some examples of those on here as well. Then there's some miscellaneous records on HeritageQuest Online, including the Freedman Bank records. For the blacks, that's a wonderful resource. It's all indexed now. It was the Freedman Bank was what happened after the slaves were emancipated. They opened accounts at the bank, but they had to give information about who their ancestors were so they could be identified. And it's loaded with genealogy information. And it's all been indexed and is available on here, as well as a couple of other places. The U.S. serial records by the government. Several university libraries are repositories for all the publications the government ever does. And the BYU library here in Provo, Utah is one that is a repository. But all those are in electronic form as well on HeritageQuest Online. And different kinds of court records and other things, letters to senators and various other things are available in there. And you never know what you're going to find on your ancestor when you start looking. There are just lots of other miscellaneous records on there. And then there's the Library of Congress photo collection. And I'll show you a photo I found on Erastus Snow in there. And then here's the conclusions for the whole thing. Okay, now let's go back over to the PowerPoint here, and that's a quick run through of the class notes. We want to look at some examples and demos. And in Utah, here's that link. That's in your notes as well, but that'll get you to the HeritageQuest Online with a library card from any public library in the state of Utah. It used to be you had to go into just your own local library's website and use that library card, and not all libraries in Utah subscribe to it. But this one will get you to it from any public library card in the whole state. Okay, now we want to look at some examples on this. So I'm going to go into the back here and go over to HeritageQuest. Here's HeritageQuest Online. Once you get into it, either at a family history center or at home, here's what's on there. Now you look at this and it says, welcome to the HeritageQuest, the library, etc. It's got census stuff up here, and we've talked about that before. This search books and search censuses and so on, and you think, oh, that's all there is. But if you click up here in the upper corner, over here where it says search, right up there in the upper left-hand corner, click on that. Look what opens up. Here's the search census and the books and the wills and probates. Look at all this other stuff that's on here. City directories, military records, immigration records, all this kind of stuff. Public, look at all this stuff. And you wouldn't even think it was there if you just went to their homepage. What we want to look at today is down here where it says search maps and photos. And so you scroll down a little ways, and here's maps and photos. Now I'm going to hold down the control key so that it'll open this in a new window. See, these are links you see as I'm holding the cursor over them. This is the one about the census, county boundary changes. I'm going to click on it and open it up. And now I'll go up here and open that new link. Here we are, map guide to the U.S. federal census from the 1890. Remember, we became a country in 1789, the Revolutionary War. And so 1890 was the first census up to 1920. There have been censuses since then, but they only listed up to 1920. Here's a map that you can click on any state and view what's going on. I'm going to click on Utah right there. And here's the map of that shows the different counties, the way they are at the different years. Now over here on the left side, you see years. 1851 is the first year that there were counties. The Mormons got here to Utah in 1847. But in 1851, that's the first year that we have the state with the counties. That's 1851. Click on this one. There's 1860. That's what the counties look like in 1860. 1871. That's what the counties look like in 1871. 1881, and so on, right on down the line until the last time there was a county boundary change here in Utah was in 1920. So there's the last one with the way the counties look today. Now, one trick that I did on this that I thought, well, I'd like to kind of see these in sequence. So I did screenshots of each one of these things. And so that each one is a screenshot, a separate screenshot. And so you can watch them one after the other by just clicking on down the line. I think I won't take time to actually go through it. But if we have time, I'll come back and do it. But by just doing a screenshot, make sure that it's centered, the same size, each piece that you pick. So because you want it to be so that each one opens in the same place that the previous map was. And so I just did screenshots by using that program that I always use, that Faststone Capture. And you could do automatic screenshots. You don't even have to worry about naming them until later. And I just had it put the date and time that it was doing the screenshot. And I started first up here on 1851, did a screenshot. Actually, I hit the F11 key first. Watch what happens if I hit F11. It opens up the thing and cuts out some of the top so that you get a better picture. And so I did the screenshot with the F11s on there, F11 first. And then each one of these things, as I went down the line, did a click and then a click. And then you can name the files later. I just had it do an automatic save. So it just saved it with the date and time. And then I could go back later and do the actual labeling of it, that it was Utah County boundaries in whatever the year was on this. And if you wanted to put that into a PowerPoint or something, you could just copy those slides, those screenshots directly into the PowerPoint. And then as you click, it would show you the changes of the times and what the counties look like. Now, it doesn't show the cities on here, and that's what we wish it did show. And that is available on other maps, but not on here. Now, I realized after looking at this that this is all taken from Dollarhide's census book. Dollarhide, I've forgotten what his first name was, but he wrote a book called The Census Book. And it's a paperback about an inch thick that is really, really helpful with a lot of good information. And HeritageQuest Online has the rights to that whole book. They used to have the complete book available that you could download the book itself. Now, the book is available, but it doesn't have Dollarhide's name on it anymore. This is from his book. I recognize these maps and so on from seeing it. And if you know where to look, and I put just a note in the notes that I think there are 5 or 6 chapters in Dollarhide's book. Those chapters are all available for downloading as PDFs in other places on HeritageQuest Online. So that's really worthwhile to be aware of as to what's going on. Now let's see if I can see enough to get back from here. I can't see enough to get back from there. So we go back over here to this one, and I'll close that piece that I was at. And so we're now back to this page that we were on, that we got to by using that little upper right-hand corner search box, search link up there. So that's the census maps. Now, look at some of these other things here. Here's the census, the indexed county land ownership. There's a couple of those things here. Let me just click on this one. I'll hold down the control key again and click and show you what it is. I looked to see if I could find anything of my family, and I couldn't find anything on here. It says it's from 1860 to 1918. And it's U.S. indexed county land ownership maps. Now, this is not complete, so it's not everybody, but I typed in to see what was going on here. I typed in snow to see what was happening with snow, and then looked at all the stuff that was on here. And let's see, did I get that? I wanted snow. I wanted exact.
You had show.
Oh, no wonder it's not working right. I'll have to go back and edit it. Thanks. That's a problem with my eyesight. And my monitor here in Provo is much lighter than the monitor in St. George, and I don't know why. I have to do some experimenting with it. Okay, here's a bunch of snows. It found 2,133. The name Snow. Now, none of these happen to be my close relatives. I was looking for my dad or somebody else. In fact, I was looking for things in Utah, and they don't have a way that you can search very easily. There is a search box that helps, but well, let me just click on this one of these here. View. This is one from where's this one from? Wisconsin. I'll just click on that. It says view the record. So I'll click over here, and we'll see what we get. This is from Mrs. D. Snow, question mark. I don't know what that means. D. Snow, I don't know. Anyway, this is the details for her is on here, and then you can click over here and it gives you a little more write-up. And over here is a picture. Now this will be an example. If you find one of your ancestors, I'm going to click on that picture so that you can see what it is. It's opening up this map. Now look at that map. That's a map of, this is in Wisconsin, in a particular county in Wisconsin, and it lists who owned all the different property in there, and this is an indexed thing, so the name will be on here where which piece she owned, and you can click by move. See, there's a hand in there. You can. I'm just holding down the mouse button as I move this thing around. Usually it's highlighted in yellow, but I don't see. Maybe my eyesight is not good enough, but there may be something in yellow on there, but it'll show where that snow piece was. And so if you happen to find something that's indexed with your information on here, boy, you got a gold mine of information as to who owned that land and who owned the land around it and all the details of it. So it is worthwhile checking it out. I looked to see if there was anything in Utah, and I could not find anything in Utah, but I thought, oh, I will get screenshots of all of this stuff. So I downloaded the whole works, all these 2,000 something of them by using my Evernote file. I went down here to the bottom of this thing, and it gives you the option of, see, there's only 20 on here. You can select up to 50. And so I clicked this. I said, okay, do 50. So now it'll pick up 50. There's the first 50 of them. It's showing numbers 1 through 50 of these. And then I use my the web clipper to just copy this whole thing right into my Evernote file. And now it's completely searchable in my Evernote file. And there's not a single state one of these things in Utah. So I don't know what the story is as to what the details are, but anyway, I didn't find anything that I was interested in, but you might find something else that your ancestor would be interested in. That's the ownership maps. There's another one over here about U.S. indexed land ownership maps. It's quite a bit the same. Let me hold down, let me get rid of that other one so we don't get them mixed up. I'll close that one. Where's my cursor? There it is. Let's see, close that. And now I'll click on this other one over here. I'll hold down the control key so it'll open up in a separate tab. And this is a different collection. This is U.S. indexed early and land ownership and township plats. This is 1785 to 1898. And this one I haven't saved off all the snows, and I'd like to, but I just haven't done it yet to see. But this is the same sort of thing, but it's a different collection. This one actually shows some of the bounty land grants that were given to Revolutionary War soldiers in Ohio and elsewhere after the Revolutionary War. And so a lot of them, that's why a lot of people moved to Ohio. In the West, I think they called it the Western Reserve, as I recall, and because they got land there for free from the government because they had been in the military service. So there's lists here like that that shows the township plats, same sort of thing as the other ones. Let me close that and go back over here to show you a couple of other things on here. In here, there's a search the records. Well, down below here is a search for other locations. We talked about that briefly when we were talking about records from other countries. This is certainly not complete, but it's worth looking at because they do have different countries around the world, Europe, South America, and a lot of other things where there are groups of records, not complete records of everything, but a lot of parish registers and other stuff are down there. Now let's see, the library, here's this one right here is the Library of Congress photo collection. Let me click over here and go to the Library of Congress photo collection. I found on searching on these things, rather than typing in the name up here, put it into the keywords down here, because I think what it looks to me like what they're doing is the name of the photograph, and you don't know what that photograph might have been called. But if you put it in the keywords down here, it picks it up on there. I typed in Erastus Snow, and I ended up, well, let me see if I can do it for you. Where is the keywords? See, there's the title of the picture. We don't know what the title would be called. So someplace down here.
Just above title.
Is it above title? That's my poor eyesight. There, keywords. Yeah, okay. Let me type in Erastus Snow and see if this will bring up what I want to show you. Okay, now then, where's the search? Here's the search. Yeah, here it is. Erastus Snow House. Now, this is a picture, and Lynn and Quilden, since you guys are know more about St. George, you may be able to click on that and see what it is. You may be able to recognize more what this is. There's the picture of the house. I'm going to click on that picture so it'll open it up. And it says,
got the wrong address for the
that's what I thought.
So this is a different house.
This says it's 150 North Main Street, and that was not his address. His address would be right on the corner of Main Street and 100 North. I think this might be Erastus Beeman Snow's home, but they call it Erastus Snow's home. So somebody from down there that remembers what this place was. Erastus Beeman Snow owned the home about just a block or two up the street. No, his would have been up around 200 North though. So I don't know. This doesn't, anyway, it doesn't match what I remember. And so somebody from down there in St. George, an old timer, could probably look at that and say, oh, that's the old house. That's not the two-story house that he had on the corner of Main Street and St. George Boulevard now. Anyway, there's pictures on there. So you may find a picture on there of one of your ancestors or something that would be helpful for you to look at. There's other things in here to look at. Down here in the search records for other locations, you find all kinds of vital records and different sorts of things. Down here, I think it's down under more. Where's the one under more on the U.S.? Let me click on that one to, well, let me close out that other so we don't get confused with that picture. I did a screenshot of that house, but I got to find out now who owned that one, what it really was. Here's more U.S. records. So I'm going to hold down the control key while I click on that. And these are more U.S. vital records. Now, they're not all vital records, but there's a lot of stuff in here. And here's all these different kinds of records down here. This is where I found my dad's, even his death certificate of my dad in here. I looked for California. And when I hit California, then it said, okay, which county do you want in California? Dad died in Los Angeles in 1954. And so I said, I want Los Angeles. And I knew the date Dad died. And the certificates are not strictly in chronological order, but they're almost chronological order. It looks to me like they're in the order that the attending physician sent in the list of them that he had from that month or that week or however many he had before he sent them in. So it took me a couple of hours to find where Dad's was, but Dad's certificate is on there. And I could do a screenshot of it and so on. So you may find some stuff in there, certificates. You may not find yours in there too, but it depends on what you look for. And you can do a search by doing I found it very helpful to do a Control F search. You hold down the Control key and hit F, and that opens a box up here, and then type in whatever state you want. And then it'll go from state to state by clicking on the little chevron and see what records they happen to have for the state you're interested in. But there's quite a bit of information on there, and it's all free and available at home with just your library card. And these other countries are in here. I even found a bunch of records for Ecuador, and my kids are down there as mission presidents in Guayaquil, Ecuador, and there's stuff in here about them, not about them, but about the people in Ecuador that some of their missionaries are teaching. Anyway, you get the idea of what's there with the information and what's there. Let's go back over here and give you a quick summary. We looked at HeritageQuest Online, how to get there. And then we did the U.S. county boundary changes and what you can do with those maps. And then the land ownership maps. And of course, they're not complete, but you never know what you're going to find. And since it's free, it's easy to check at home. Miscellaneous vital records, and more than just vital records, because there's a lot of other stuff. And the Library of Congress photos. And we didn't even talk about the serials to look at those. But if one of your ancestors had something they wrote to a congressman, or a congressman was doing something to help them, there's probably a copy of that information in here because those were published in U.S. serial records. Well, all the videos of this, the video of this class and others are on Facebook. They're on Facebook for a couple of months. Gerhard puts them on there for a couple of months. And then, but they're on YouTube permanently after that. Okay, do any of you have any questions or comments that you want to make? And if so, just
New information.
Comments?
I wanted to mention the Dollar Hide book, William. The one that was free that you could download from HeritageQuest had some errors in it. And so then he's redone a new one recently. I think it was like 2000, I don't know, 17 or something, but I just recently saw a review on that one in anticipation of the census, and you can buy it and it's not too expensive. But it has updated the censuses since that one was done. But I have to say that I did download the one from HeritageQuest and have used quite a few things in there. And one of the things I really love is he talks about the different state censuses and mentions those and that actually was one of the places where he had a few errors, that he had left out some of the state censuses and a few things like that. So
I'm glad to know that. I wonder if the HeritageQuest will correct their stuff,
or if he just gave them, you know, that early edition and now he's making money off his books, or I don't know. Yeah. So
well, the whole book was on there, including the cover and the whole thing, and you could download it and put it together.
I use it. Yeah.
The whole book is still on there, but without his cover.
Without his cover, and I'm pretty sure it's because he now has this new edition that's on there.
That could be. I was not aware of the new edition, so I appreciate that information.
Can you show me where to go to get the Dollar Hide book? I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
It's in the. Let me see if I can get back here to my where it is.
While you're looking for that, Don, I really love the Dollar Hide book, especially his census forms in the back.
Yes,
they're really helpful, especially on using the before 1850 censuses in trying to match up your families with the hash marks that you get in those early censuses.
Yeah, they are helpful. He has got all those forms in here. Let's see, they're at the bottom of one of these things. Search the U.S. Census. They used to be in the books. You used to be able to download it from the books, but it's no longer in the books. Let's see if I can find where it is now. There's let's go over here to the search. There's someplace in. I remember. It's something to do with research aids. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, research aids. It's right here in the middle. See, under where it says right under HeritageQuest, right in the middle, there were three words. One of them is research aids. Click on research aids, and what you see down here are these things: getting started, census, and beyond the basics. Now, if you look down in here, these things right here are the pieces of his book. Right here, these are all the different chapters of his book, but you'd never know it unless you knew what the book looked like. There.
Don, I went and we're going to put it into the UV tagology next month because we're featuring censuses, but it was an article by a genealogist in the archive, and so she says that his new book is 2019. And the publisher is Family Roots Publishing Company. So William Dollar Hide. Yeah.
Okay. William, that's the guy's name, William. Yeah. See, he doesn't give any, like this is, let's see, ancestries. Let me, creating timelines. Let me get over here. Historical U.S. censuses. Let me click on that one to show you what it is. Here it is. See, this
Yeah.
says
Yeah,
section
there
one.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as you see this, if you saw the old book, you know, oh yeah, this is the old book.
It's good. Yeah.
And it's got how many pages? It's got what does it say up there? I
18.
can't see how many pages. Anyway, there's bunches of pages, and you can download the PDF of this whole thing. And so the pieces of it are there, but it no longer gives his name on it.
Right.
And
And this is really good because the censuses, sometimes they took a long time to collect, they like a year and a half and things like that. And so just knowing those little things in his book have just been invaluable to me.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'm glad to know there's a new edition of it.
yeah, but
And I wonder if that new edition will ever be available for no charge on some website. Probably not for a while.
you mentioned the congressional sets and that, and I just recently found a Revolutionary War man that kept filing to be able to get his bounty land in there, and it was so valuable because it said where he was finally buried and gave us quite a bit of information on that. So I'm just amazed. I'm so glad you are doing these classes because you really have opened up a source that had been neglected for me for a long time that is new. So appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate that comment, Marilyn.
John, we have a similar comment from your Facebook fans.
Oh,
Deborah says, thank you. I'll be sharing the link to this presentation in a class I'm giving on free resources. I hadn't realized this was available through having a library card.
well, great, good. Here's the public record. Where are the down here somewhere? There's the U.S. serial set. This is the stuff that Marilyn was just talking about down here on this stuff. And all those Revolutionary War records, the military records, the pension files. It's not complete, but if it's got your stuff in here, boy, you got it. And
you
so,
know,
I mean,
actually, I think they have pulled. I couldn't find it on Footnote, and I did find it here. And so,
oh really? Oh,
do you remember the Reclaim the Records lawsuit
yeah,
against
right.
Ancestry because they hadn't made it available for free?
Yeah.
And so I am almost wondering if AncestralQuest now has things that used to be on Footnotes. So yeah, this is good.
That might be the case.
Yeah,
Huh. Well, anyway, it's a gold mine of stuff, and it's free with a library card in most places. And many states have a link like that one that we showed you for Utah. Texas does, and several others do. And other places you can get to it with a library card. And for people who are out of state from Utah, if you want to, you can get a non-resident library card for here in Utah for some public library, and then use it from wherever you are.
And there are some places that people don't have a library card. So for example, Alpine, Utah, where I live, we don't have automatically get a library card. And so what you just said applies to us also, that we can apply for a state library card to access this and some other things. So yeah, it's good you mentioned that.
You don't have a public library in Alpine?
No, yeah.
Can you not get to the one in Lehigh or American Fork or someplace?
Yeah, but we have to pay a non-resident fee. So,
really?
Yeah. So, yeah, Alpine will give us a few dollars to help cover it, but we have to pay for our library card.
What does it cost? Do you know?
So I actually do the Salt Lake County because they are a larger collection than Utah County, and so I pay, I think it's like $70, and then I get reimbursed $50.
So it costs you about $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's per year. You have to renew that every year, don't you? Yeah. It was $20 per year in St. George for any, but you had to be present in the library to apply for it the first time, but then you could renew it via the internet after that. But it was $20. I don't know what it is now, but it was $20.
But I think there's also a state library card that isn't attached to a county. And then also school children can get a library card from their schools. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
might be,
and another,
how do you get a state library card?
I'm not sure about that one.
That would be
well,
worth knowing about
I'm going
because,
to have to research that one. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, good. I appreciate all those comments. Very helpful. Okay, thanks. Well, let me get back to let's see, back to my PowerPoint here, and right there, and that's the comments. And if anybody else have a last minute comment or a question that you want to ask?
I didn't see any others except, yeah, that's it. You've on Facebook, by the way, we had people who said they were from Arizona and Illinois and Idaho that joined you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we're always glad to have people from out of state join with us wherever they are. Okay, that's the link where the notes are, and Gerhard has put a copy of the notes in the chat box. And so I appreciate all of you taking time to watch, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.